we're going to do a quick rundown of the tool setter for this machine. I've just fired it up, hit my power up and restart here on my module, so I'm all ready to go. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull out my arm and make sure it's all the way down. Now you'll notice here, I'm going to move the camera so it'll get a little bit shaky. But I have my block here, and I have 4 different sides that I can hit. So depending on the tool configuration, if the tool is an outside cutting tool, like this one here, I can touch here for X and I can touch here for Z. But in the situation where I have a boring bar, okay, the cutter is actually going to be turned over here so that I can use this for X and then that for Z. So it's important to note that, and it will do the compensation for you. Okay, so how we get that started up, we're going to go back here to our control. And again, we're here. We'll be able to go over to hand jog, and just so happens that my offsets are set up here. This is the work offset. We're not going to play with that right now. There's tool wear and back to the offset. So I am at tool number 1, and that's why it's highlighted, and X just comes up as default. But since I went ahead and hit the hand jog, I'm going to go into 100,000ths mode there, hit my Z so I can get it moving over, and I'm going to crank this over. Okay. And then I'm going to hit my X to bring it down a little closer. And then Z. Make sure I get it even that much closer. So this is what you should be looking at right about now. Okay, and that's a safe distance right there. Now, here's where the magic comes in. We're going to go back up. We're going to make sure that we are in 1000ths mode here. All right, and you'll see it right up here on the screen. You have 1000ths. And from there, if you can kind of see both happening at the same time, I'm going to push and hold the X negative, and the machine is moving. Now, the machine is moving very slow, okay, but it's going to come in contact with that. I'm going to back the screen up just a little bit, and if you can kind of see the numbers, they're moving on the screen on the X position, and then as soon as it touches, it's going to load the X value. So up here, if you were watching at this block, you have noticed that that value did change. That has officially set the X-axis tool geometry offset. Okay, so notice I wasn't using the hand wheel doing that. I was just using X. Now at this point, I can't go any farther because it has noticed the tool there. So I'm going to go ahead and back up. I'm going to hit Z. I'm going to drive over. Okay, notice that's turning over. I'm going to hit X and go down. So now I have a situation that looks like this. Okay, I'm close, but I'm not touching. And then I'm going to do the same procedure. I'm going to make sure that I'm in 1000ths. You notice here that it's in 1000ths. And then I'm going to hold the Z negative so that I'm moving the entire turret in this direction. And I'm going to run it basically right into the probe by holding it. So I'm going to back up here to try to get everything in frame. I'm holding Z. I'm moving. You see the screen? And there's my beep. My beep, and then my value updated right up here. And now my tool geometry is set in both the X and the Z. Okay, so now I can simply start to back this up to get it out of the way. I can now re-engage my 100,000ths, and I can get this at a safe distance away in order to be able to do a tool change. Now if I want to go ahead and set up tool number 2, it's very simple. I'll go to my turret, forward and reverse, but I can't do it in this mode. I'm in hand jog mode and it won't allow me to do this. So I'm going to need to switch quickly over to MDI, and I can do turret forward. I got my tool change. Now I'm in tool number 2. I can go back to hand jog. It immediately brings back up my tool geometry, and notice that 2 is highlighted, and the last position I used was Z, and so therefore it is highlighted. But if I hit X, it will change the X and then make an X movement in this direction. And then all the tools can be set up in the turret. Now I do want to call one thing out. I'm going to go back to MDI, and I'm going to keep hitting this. And I'm going to take this around to our drill. Okay, so now I have my drill set up here. This is my, basically this right here is my center drill. I'm going to go ahead and set that. Now realize I really can't set off the side of this, and I don't need to because the machine actually knows where the center of the spindle is. So all we need to do is set Z, but there's one other little step for that. So let me back up here. We're going to go back to our hand jog, brings this back up. Notice tool 9 is on there. That happens to be the tool we're dealing with. We're going to do X. We're going to roll that down to where we can come in contact with that. We're going to go Z rapid. And we're going to roll right up to where I'm getting close. That's very close, okay? No biggie. Now we're going to go to, remember our 001 right there, okay? Make sure it says it there. And now we're going to hold Z negative. And it is moving very slow. You can see the numbers counting. Boom. It just wrote this, it just basically recorded the value, or is going to be recording the value in here. Once we have achieved that, we can simply back that up. And as far as the X value goes, that's very simple. I'm jogging now in the X value. I can simply hit F2, okay? And F2 is going to put in this negative 11.5226. And that is, the machine knows exactly from this point up here, from the home, how far down the center of all of these tool holders are from the center of this part. And it's very simply loaded in, so it's going to hit that every single time.